elections in Canada. Now it's time to stay closer home and head over to Trinidad and Tobago to find out more about what happened yesterday in their general elections. What we can tell you, the United National Congress, UNC, has won the 2025 general election in Trinidad and Tobago, defeating the People's National Movement, PNM government. Prime Minister-elect Kamla Persad-Bissessar declared victory, calling on supporters to remain humble as ballot counting continues. The UNC appears to have retained its 19 seats and flipped several previously held by the PNM. We understand that PNM leader Dr. Keith Rowley conceded defeat, predicting that his party would hold on to between 10 and 12 seats in the opposition. It's a major blow for the PNM, but let's find out more this morning as we're joined at this time by senior broadcast journalist of CCN TV6 out of Trinidad and Tobago, Alicia Boucher, as my very special guest in another big story. Good morning, Alicia. How are you today?
Hi, good morning. Thank you for having me. Thank you to your viewers and to the entire country of Jamaica.
Thank you so very much. You must be working some long hours covering the elections, Alicia. Wouldn't you say that?
Indeed, it was. I went to bed very late, so it's been a very tiring night, but quite an interesting night.
Interesting indeed. What is going on today? What do you expect to go on? More counting?
Well, from what I was hearing last night, there may have been the recounting of one or two constituencies, but we have not heard anything official from the Elections and Boundaries Commission as yet. So we did have our numbers coming in, and of course we would have gotten those numbers from political parties and so on. But in terms of official numbers from the EBC or the final numbers or whatever the numbers are from those recounting, we have not gotten that as yet.
Okay. So, Alicia, what factors would you say contributed to the PNM's crushing defeat, and how will this impact the party's future direction?
Well, I would definitely say that one of the major issues for Trinidad and Tobago in the past few years has been the issue of crime, and I think that has taken preeminence in the mind of the population. So I believe that, the country for some time has not been comfortable or happy with the way that crime has been handled now. We would have had a lower murder rate as it pertains to homicide. So we would have had a lower homicide rate this year than last year. But in terms of overall numbers, that murder rate is still high. And you would recall that it was we just came out of a state of emergency not too long ago. So yes, that was one of the last measures to sort of control this crime situation, which has been at its highest in the last, I would say, 2 to 3 years.
Mm-hmm. Would you say that Kamla Persad-Bissessar was sort of saying the right things, especially as it relates to the crime and violence, and that might have impacted her victory?
Well, I would say that her campaign was filled with a lot of promises, a lot of things that perhaps people wanted to hear. And of course, the argument from the People's National Movement would have been that some of those promises, it would be very hard to come to fruition. So for some parts, they were being called empty promises. So of course, at this point in time, she has made a lot of promises. I think citizens, the people, by the way that you saw voting went, will be waiting to see how those promises unfold, because they would have voted for the UNC on that premise that they want things to change. And I think that they do have a very high expectation from the population that they will fulfill what they said that they will. One thing we would have heard the political leader of the People's National Movement saying last night, if good comes from the UNC's win, if good comes from it, then it's good for all, in that once those promises pan out, once the people benefit, then it's good for the country.
Yes.
So.
I want to turn our attention to the outgoing Prime Minister Stuart Young. Very, very brief tenure as Prime Minister. What will his legacy be like, and how will he be remembered?
Well, I think because he was also energy minister, and he would have done a lot of work in the energy industry, I think he would be remembered for that. Would a month and something be enough to really leave a legacy behind as a prime minister? Well, that is debatable. So I think that is a question I would not be able to fully answer.
Yes. From the concession speech from the PNM leader last evening, did you pick up anything in particular that spoke to the party itself and where he goes from here?
Well, he definitely did say yesterday that the party is not focused on blaming; it is focused on rebuilding. He did indicate that a lot of work has to be done to rebuild the party, and that is what the party would be looking at this point in time. The PNM is supposed to have a convention, and therefore the PNM is supposed to go through another transition to elect a political leader. So we do not know which direction that is going to go. When Dr. Rowley would have resigned as Prime Minister, we would have seen that internal process happen, whereby it came down to Penelope Beckles, Robinson, and Stuart Young, and we would have seen that happening. There would have been word on the ground as to who would have been preferred, but that definitely, I think that when they go through that convention, and when a political leader is a new political leader, should it be, Dr. Rowley has indicated that he intends to fully retire. So the PNM will have to go through that transition of having a new political leader as well in the not too distant future.
All right, I promise to keep it short, but just before you go, Alicia, what is the seat count as at this morning?
We are still waiting, because that would be, I heard you mention the figures, and those are the numbers that we are working with. Now, let's not forget that the Tobago People's Party did take the 2 seats in Tobago East and Tobago West, and I do not believe that has happened. We have seen both seats going to another political party outside of the PNM in the general elections in Trinidad and Tobago. I do believe in 1986, when the NAR had a sweeping victory in Trinidad, it was 33 seats to 3. I still think one of those seats may have gone to the PNM, but this time we saw both seats in Tobago. I could be wrong, so I'll have to go back and check that. But last evening, we did see both seats going to the TPP in Tobago.
All right. Oh, you've been very helpful and very kind. Thank you so much for your kind accommodations this morning, Alicia Boucher. And get some rest before you go out if you can.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me.
Great having you this morning. All the best to you.
Same to you.